Following last week's tragic event at Orlando nightclub, the United Soccer League is contributing to the One Orlando Fund and is asking for your support as well. One Orlando was created to provide funds and assistance within the Orlando community, including care for the victims and families affected by last weekend's heartbreaking incident. Please visit oneorlando.org for more information. Again, that's oneorlando.org. We thank you for your support.
Selected photos may be shared on Twitter throughout the match. For everything you need to know about the USL.
Children's Mercy Victory Field at Swope Soccer Village in Kansas City, Missouri is the site of a homecoming of sorts tonight as the Swope Park Rangers play host to OKC Energy FC. Hello everybody, I'm Nate Bucati along with Chad Reynolds tonight for this USL matchup. When I talk about a homecoming, it's a homecoming for Jimmy Nielsen, the head coach of OKC Energy, who is one of the all-time legends for the parent club of Swope Park Rangers Sporting Kansas City, where he won 2 trophies and was the captain of that team, but now he returns to Kansas City as the head coach of the opponent here tonight. As I said, Nate Bucati along with Chad Reynolds. Let's take a look at the starting 11 for both of these teams. First off, for the visitors, that side for Jimmy Nielsen of Oklahoma City. And Chad, 5 changes from a side that went down to the wire in U.S. Open Cup play on Wednesday, losing in penalties after a 2-2 draw through 120 minutes to FC Dallas. But out of those changes, the most notable possibly up top, the strike partnership of Wojciech Wojcik and Danny Koenig, who is one of the most prolific scorers in this league.
Yeah, Danny Koenig was a finalist for the USL MVP last year. The guy scored 21 goals in league play. He's a really dangerous player with a lot of experience, both in USL and in the Danish Superliga. He's a guy you got to watch out for.
It's a 4-4-2 formation for OKC Energy FC, who come in with a 4-2-4 record on the season and already one victory against Swope Park Rangers so far this year. Now we take a look at the starting 11 for Mark Dos Santos' side for the Swope Park Rangers, and they will be making 4 changes to the side that suffered a 3-2 loss at Vancouver Whitecaps 2 last Saturday north of the border.
Yeah, the big change right now is Dane Kelly coming in, guy who is the USL's all-time leading goal scorer, making his first start since the second game of the season all the way back in April. And he is just, quite frankly, the most prolific goal scorer this league has ever seen. And with Kevin Oliveira, who's in tremendous form right now, in behind him, that's a really dangerous partnership up top.
Now, Oliveira, the USL Player of the Week after leading a furious comeback that ended up falling short in Vancouver that we talked about last Saturday. But between Dane Kelly and Danny Koenig, you're going to see 2 of the better goal-scoring forwards in this league on display on a hot, muggy night here in the Midwest. Our kickoff is coming up next from Swope Soccer Village right after this. Just about set for kickoff at Swope Soccer Village, Children's Mercy Victory Field, Sporting Kansas City, and OKC Energy getting ready to square off in Kansas City, Missouri. Hello once again, everybody. Nate Bucati along with Chad Reynolds. We are underway on one of the better playing surfaces in the entire nation, I will say, not just USL, but anywhere on the board. If you actually look at the field here, Chad, this is a place that you almost have to ask yourself if it's an artificial surface because it looks so immaculate when the players play on it, so they will enjoy that. And we should be in store for a heck of a matchup tonight between OKC and Swope Park Rangers.
Yeah, these are 2 teams that played a high-quality competitive match earlier in the season, Oklahoma City getting the win. But 2 teams kind of right now a little figuring out their form. Oklahoma City was on a big 8-match unbeaten streak in USL before dropping one against Rio Grande and then losing midweek against FC Dallas in the Open Cup. And Swope Park Rangers had a furious comeback, kind of just fall short, literally a goalpost short this weekend, or last weekend, excuse me, against Vancouver Whitecaps FC.
OKC dressed in their green tops with the white shorts and green socks. Swope Park Rangers in their primary kits, the navy blue and royal blue hoops here on their home field, where Swope Park Rangers have been good this year, 3-1-0 on their home turf on the season. And the man in the middle, the referee for tonight, is Kevin Krietzman. I think that Matthew Kreitzer, boy, didn't get close on that one. Might be a person that I work with in a different line of work.
Kevin.
Whose name just got shouted out. Those who listen to talk radio
familiar
in Kansas City might know that name. But how about Matthew Kreitzer, who is the referee here tonight? Getting forward is Ayrton for Swope Park Rangers. Just his second start since joining the side from Corinthians in Brazil. And there's a cross that is dealt with easily by the goalkeeper, Cody Lorinetti.
He's got a great man bun. Like the beard and the man bun is really impressive.
The question is that a man bun or a top knot? There's a distinction that's been drawn. Some people are passionate about it. Back to the other goalkeeper, Zach Lubin, making his 6th appearance for Swope Park Rangers, who come out in a 4-3-3, coming off a disappointing loss in their last game, 3-2, although they staged a furious comeback in that game. And the man who ended up being USL's Player of the Week, Kevin Oliveira, striking the post on a free kick on what would have been the equalizer in that one. But as it is, it ended up in a 3-2 loss, which dropped Swope Park Rangers to 4-6-2 on the season. And head coach Mark Dos Santos not too happy with that. Hoping the team will get back on the right track here at home. Meanwhile, for OKC, have they gotten used to the road here of late? 5 straight road matches when you factor in all competitions, including Wednesday's game at FC Dallas in the US Open Cup. Here's Dalgard. Kyle Hyland all the way back. Cody Andrews. Cyprian Hedrick, who's got some Kansas City roots. He was the 30th overall pick in the 2012 draft by Sporting Kansas City. Of course, these two organizations share a past, Chad, as before Sporting Kansas City launched Swope Park Rangers as their own USL squad, they were partners with Oklahoma City.
Yeah, and it was a good partnership too. You know, a guy like Christian Duke was able to come down from Sporting Kansas City and get a lot of minutes with the Oklahoma City Energy, and then that allowed him to come to Kansas City and be the captain for the Swope Park Rangers. John Kempen, who's on the bench today for the Rangers, also saw some time for the Energy. So it was a good back and forth, and now we're seeing that with FC Dallas and Oklahoma City Energy's similar partnership.
That's, of course, why Jimmy Nielsen is a part of this organization at the time. And the two sides' partners, Jimmy Nielsen had just retired right after winning MLS Cup in 2013 and started his coaching career. He said he wasn't sure it was going to start this quickly, but I think his quote to the Kansas City newspaper was, "Here I am, 40 pounds heavier and standing on the sidelines now."
He wasn't sure it was going to start quickly. It was like 4 days after the season ended.
Here comes a cross in and a punching away by Zach Lubin. There was Wojciech crashing toward the goal. A big target at 6'4", a relatively new signing for OKC Energy.
Lubin does really well there to read that early and cut that out. I actually think Tommy Meyer might have been beat, but Lubin coming out with a strong punch immediately, finding the feet of Walefi out top, which is a bit fortuitous, but that's a good strong punch. Good early commitment off his line from Zach Lubin.
On the near side, Nansel Selbol, who was a Sporting Kansas City Academy product, He just moved to Kansas City in 2014, a native of Nigeria. But they saw him play and snatch him up right away. Now he's already playing regularly for Swope Park Rangers. Here's Ayrton, cutting his way back into the area, standing up to the challenge. Still Ayrton. Now Ayrton again. Now he plays it back to Oliveira. He's dangerous in these pockets right here. Plays it back to Walefi. Now right-hand side, here's Selbol again. Turning into the area, Selbol. Now to the end line. Puts the cross in, it deflects right across the 6 and in by Ayrton, and it's into the back of the net. Now the question will be, is this an own goal for OKC Energy, or is it Ayrton who's claiming it right now? Chad, I'll be interested to see if this ball crossed the goal line before it was knocked in by one of the defenders in a green shirt.
That's a hockey goal right there. Just put the ball or the puck in the middle and hope it hits somebody and goes in. You know what? I think it might have gone in. We'll see the replay here in a minute. I think it might be Ayrton's goal and the defender's kind of standing in the area. But how about Nancel Selbol skinning 2 defenders down the right side to set this whole thing up?
That's what sets everything up. The run here by Selbol.
Okay, see, lucky that first ball doesn't pop into the goal.
Well, I think that hasn't crossed the line yet.
That's an own goal.
So Ayrton put it in, but I don't think he's going to get credit for his first goal. It's Kyle Hyland who tried to clear it off the line, but he cleared it the wrong way.
I think it kind of hits his back foot, but that's, how about Ayrton very quickly getting that ball right back into the face of the goal, shooting or crossing. I think he's shooting, but puts it in back into it immediately into a dangerous spot, and good things happen when you put the ball in the face of the goal.
The official announcement here at Swope Soccer Village over the PA system has been credited a goal to Ayrton for Swope Park Rangers in the 7th minute, with the assist going to Nancel Selbol. We'll see if there's a change in scoring there, but as it is, we'll put it down as the first goal for the 22-year-old Brazilian who has just made his 2nd start for his new club. And Swope Park Rangers lead it 1-0 within the first 10 minutes.
And first assist on the season for Nancel Selbol, too. He scored a cracker of a goal earlier this year, but really has done exciting things. Marco Santos says he's a player who just comes in and our game picks up. So really excited about what the 19-year-old can bring.
When you talk about Selbol and Oliveira, who just turned 20 last week, some young players that are really worth monitoring for this Swope Park Rangers side and potentially being involved with the future of Sporting Kansas City sometime down the road. Their focus right now, though, just helping this team win games and proving what they're worth. This time Selbol trying to keep it in, but he's shielded off by Cody Andrews.
But you see right there the attention that Kevin Oliveira is drawing. 2 defenders in front of him, 1 behind him, and then another one kind of circles in. And it opened a lane up for Selbol. The ball didn't quite fall to him. But Kevin Oliveira, Oklahoma City, very, very aware every time he gets the ball.
This time OKC coming down the right-hand side. Michael Harris looking for the long switch for Sebastian Dalgard. He's being closed down by Jimmy Mulligan. Dalgard, though, stays on his feet. Playing it back to Michael Thomas. He's a Kansas City native himself.
I think Dalgard went down behind the play, and I can't tell if Thomas was trying to play that out for him. And now they've actually whistled for offside on that ball, but a little bit of an odd communication there between our center official and the assistant referee on the far side. But it's either offside or it's a goal kick, actually. Either way, Zach Lubin's going to take it like it is a traditional goal kick.
Putting it right on the 6. Granito. Walefi. It's going to come all the way back to Tommy Meyer. Veteran, 4 years MLS experience under his belt. Backline mate Balo. Driving into too much traffic, but it falls to Oliveira. comes Swope Park Rangers again. This time, though, dispossessed. It was Michael Busco who broke that run up from Oliveira. Testing the right-hand side again. Cuevas. Now Highland for OKC. Nito couldn't catch up to it for Swope Park Rangers. Highland down the left-hand side. Serving across in. It's easily gathered by Zach Lubin for Swope Park Rangers.
Well, and this will be an important piece of possession here. With the night as hot as it is like this, and about 3 minutes straight of possession there for OKC, where Swope Park was just chasing the game a little bit, you kind of want to settle it down and control it. And Zach Lubin scuffs that punt, and that's not what you wanted to do right after that play.
It's Granito that tracks back, though, to win it back for Swope Park Rangers. Now Dane Kelly giving chase. Battling against Cody Andrews. Now a foul's going to be called. And we'll go against Wojciech Wojcik. If you're not fluent in Polish, you might not know. That's a Polish name. He is a native of the Chicago area, but was actually born in Poland, but speaks perfect English.
And I am not fluent in Polish. The Oklahoma City PR staff told us to call him Woj, so I might stick with Woj all night.
You can understand why his teammates might call him that. Ayrton wins the corner for Swope Park Rangers now. And this will be a bit of a difficult angle for the actual taker of the corner because he's staring right back into the sun as the sun is setting here in Kansas City. It's flicked away this time by Michael Thomas. And a sliding challenge from Michael Harris to clear it out for a throw-in. 13 minutes gone. It's 1-0 in favor of the home side. Swope Park Rangers, the goal being credited to Ayrton, who we think would have scored the goal, but from our vantage point, Kyle Highland tried to clear it off the line and knocked it into his own net, so maybe should have been down as an own goal, but either way, the scoreline would remain the same. It's 1-0 for Swope Park Rangers. Subble tried to flick it on to the overlapping run of Jimmy Mulligan, but he got the touch a little wrong, and so it'll be cleared away by OKC Energy. Wojcik. Busco down the left-hand side to Dalgard. He was running a Jimmy Mulligan, and it's cleared out. An OKC throw-in.
Quite a bit of wing play so far. We just saw Selbol try to flick the ball into an overlapping Jimmy Mulligan on one end, and then Dalgard straight back down to the other end, taking on Jimmy Mulligan 1v1. A lot of play down the wings and then try to get it to the middle.
And it's cleared, or it's claimed, I should say, by Zach Lubin, the goalkeeper for Swope Park Rangers. A little bit of a scary moment there.
The punch kind of got away from him, and then we'll take a look at it here on the replay. That it's a big, long throw, and Lubin, again, decisive off his line, comes out to win it. Just can't quite climb over the OKC Energy forward to get the ball away. That's Danny Koenig in the way, but does a good job to bring it back. And now we've got some pushing and shoving in the middle of the field between Cyprian Hedrick and Dane Kelly.
As we mentioned, Cyprian Hedrick spent some time in the Sporting Kansas City organization. No history there, though, with Dane Kelly from that standpoint. Dane Kelly just joining Swope Park Rangers, obviously, this year, the new club.
Referee Max Kreitzer trying to bring him, or Matthew Kreitzer trying to bring him together and give him the shake hands and make up, but neither of them seems to really want to to have any of that right now. So we get a look at what was going on. Ooh, wow. I mean, just started out as some physical play, and then a little bit of kicking at each other, a little bit of arms flailing, and
might have been about 3 handballs involved in that interchange as well. By the end, you could see Dane Kelly might have caught Hedrick with an open hand across the face. But as we are back in action now, it'll be Kyle Highland to take the throw in for OKC.
Another big throw.
It's flicked on, bicycle or scissor kick attempt by Michael Thomas. Misses the target, and it'll be out for a goal kick.
Michael Thomas really audacious there with that attempt, but actually kind of left on his own. Might have had some time to bring that ball down and lay it back off. Big long throw from Kyle Highland here. Nice flick on.
And the throw-in has some interesting English on it. You know, technically the thrower's supposed to go straight over the top. You see a little bit of side/top spin there, but those things typically aren't going to be called. But it causes some interesting English, and it's like the Swope Park players will have to adjust to that a little bit. Dane Kelly was appealing for a foul call there just outside of the area, but it falls on deaf ears. Now here's Hedrick for OKC. And did Dane Kelly have an appeal for a call here? He got caught.
Cody Andrews just kind of hanging on to that ball, trying to touch around him instead of just taking the simple play wide to Highland.
Like Dane Kelly might have left his foot out there a little bit longer to try to draw that contact, but the contact was there. There's Kevin Oliveira. He's moved to a more advanced position in that midfield triangle for Swope Park Rangers. And this time to Kelly, trying to turn. Not much space, a lot of green shirts in front of him, so he starts to play it out wide, but Michael Harris was there to break it up.
And Michael Busco in Dane Kelly's pocket there. Kelly tried to turn him left, then he tried to turn him right, and Busco stepped with him every step of the way, kind of keeping Dane Kelly from even just getting a quick turn and shot off, which is one of the biggest strengths of his game.
Flicked on by Koenig. And out for an OKC throw-in. Nike is a proud partner of the USL. Follow at Nike Soccer on Twitter for all the latest Nike Soccer information. Comes another one of those long throws from Kyle Highland. Swope Park Rangers have had a little bit of a difficulty dealing with a couple of these so far.
Well, there's definitely some height from OKC in there too.
2 big target forwards in the starting 11. And this shot attempt with the left foot by Jose Cuevas goes right into the belly of Zach Lubin.
Might have even taken a deflection. I think the problem there is that Kevin Oliveira and Ayrton both thought the other was going to go for the ball at the top of the box, and neither went for it.
It's a great ball from Kevin Oliveira
They both
to Selbel. Selbel on the 18, cutting his way back, and a punching save by Cody Lorendi. But boy, has Nansel Selbel been dangerous so far for Swope Park Rangers. Now while Leffy gets thrown to the ground and a foul against OKC. Well, in case you missed it, here's what we saw from Selbel moments ago here at Swope Soccer Village.
Kyle Highland just giving him too much space to dance and then timing his step poorly. It's a nice shot from Selbel down to the goalkeeper's right. Goalkeeper Cody Lorendi making a nice save. Probably not where he wants to spill that ball. He wants to either hold that or parry that better, but really, really nice stuff from Nansel Selbel early.
So it's Oliveira and Ayrton standing behind this one. Now Ayrton makes way. So Oliveira can whip this one in. Sends it in low. It's headed away easily by OKC.
That ball needs to get to the back post. Goalkeeper Cody Lorendi with his hand up, blocking the sun. You got to put a ball across the face of the goal there and make the goalkeeper try and read it into the sun.
Rangers probing that left-hand side. Now here comes a cross in. Sails all the way across and out of bounds. Selbel was the closest one to it for the Rangers.
Well, I don't know if you caught that, but that was the two center backs for the Swope Park
Yeah.
Rangers. Tommy Meyer and Omar Ballo down there in the left corner. Not exactly who you would expect to be whipping crosses in.
But that's after the free kick
Yeah.
from earlier, so those two bodies came forward.
I think there was just a moment of Omar Ballo's where he saves the ball on the end line and he's not quite sure what to do with it.
Header well won that time by Walefi. Jimmy Mulligan brings it down. Selbel's been in a good mood so far tonight. Back to Mulligan under pressure. Sent down by Lubin. Selbel controls it. Finds Oliveira. Trying to cut his way back, but Michael Busco was there for OKC. There is a Danish flavor to this team for Oklahoma City. When you look through their roster, and maybe not surprising with the White Puma, Jimmy Nielsen running the show. He is, of course, a native of Denmark, and he's got a handful of players from Denmark, and Michael Busco, one of those. Koenig, the striker we talked about as well.
Sebastian Dalgaard, yes.
Easy time!
And Dalgaard and Koenig both with experience in the Danish Superliga with teams like Randers, with teams like Vestjylland, and I mean these are fairly large clubs. You actually often see American players go over to the Danish Superliga. It's a league of some quality. And Jimmy Nielsen spent plenty of time there, as long with his spells in England.
Here's Mulligan for Swope Park. Walefi. Granito looking for the run of Selbel, but that one was read nicely by Cody Andrews. But Swope Park Rangers won it back quickly. Granito. Oliveira turning. 20-year-old Oliveira, native of Cape Verde. An island basically off the coast of Africa / Spain. Or Portugal, I guess, as he might put it. Boy, and there's a cynical tackle from behind on Wojcik, and advantage was played. There are two Swope Park players down. Wojcik chopped down Walefi, and then Oliveira was taken down after that. Both players still down on the ground for Swope Park Rangers.
And Oliveira looks like he's in some pain. Walefi now getting back up, but Oliveira really pointing to his left knee. And now the officials are calling for the trainers to come out.
Well, we see a card on the play. You see Walefi taken down, and then it's like Oliveira might have just been stepped on from behind by Busco.
Yeah, I think, I mean, it was a pretty cynical tackle on Walefi. I think it's more unlucky with Oliveira where Busco's there and Cody Andrews is behind him, and they might catch him at the same time. But would definitely expect to see a yellow card for the tackle by Woj on Walefi. Less of one for the play with Oliveira, which is quite certainly a foul, but not necessarily a yellow card offense. The teams right now kind of getting an unofficial water break. USL and all leagues around the world now taking water breaks if the temperature rises above a certain threshold, and I think it's actually the dew point that makes the decision. No water break scheduled tonight, Nate, but the guys all getting one now with Kevin Oliveira receiving treatment out on the field from Swope Park Rangers trainer Jake Brownback.
Yeah, no yellow cards on the play, but you're right, this kind of becomes an unofficial water break for everybody. And since there are no official water breaks in this game tonight, as you said, that was announced before the game today, players will take the opportunity to do that when they can. Fortunately, it looks like Oliveira is going to be okay. He's walking off at least under his own power right now with a little bit of a limp. But Oliveira has been so special for this Swope Park Rangers team so far this year. As we mentioned, he just turned 20 years old within the last month. He's already played 12 games for Swope Park Rangers, 11 assists and 3 goals. Here comes the free kick and a save tipped over the bar by Cody Lorendi.
It's a big left-handed save by Lorendi. That ball might have been labeled for the post, but goalkeeper does very well to get up there and make that save and keep it out just in case. It's a big hit from Tomas Granito. Ball's biting. I think it's actually going to dive under the post the more I look at that. That's a really nice save from Lorendi.
Now the resulting corner. In front of the area, headed away. Selbel serves this one in. All the way back out to the halfway line where it's corralled by Christian Duke. Christian Duke, one of the players who really has kind of become the face of this first edition of Swope Park Rangers. Wears the captain's band. He's a Kansas City native from Overland Park, Kansas.
Christian Duke has played nearly every position on the field for the Rangers thus far this season also. At left back tonight, kind of returning to where he started the season, but spent time in the midfield the last couple weeks, has spent time at left forward. They really like him up there when they've got Jacob Pasher available, or excuse me, Tyler Pasher available on at left back.
Pasher unavailable. He suffered a knock a couple of weeks ago. Duke came sliding in on this challenge but didn't get there in time. Driving the other way was Dalgard, but Swope Park Rangers won it back. And this one's sent in for Oliveira. He brings it down. They're going to say that he used his hand to do so.
I think he certainly did. He's a little upset with the call, but I don't think, at first glance at least, I don't think you can blame the referees for that one. Gets the arm out there to keep that ball in front of him.
Yeah, just a little bit of the bicep action there from Oliveira. But talking to Mark Dos Santos, who has such a great resume coming to this Swope Park Rangers team as their head coach. And when they started the season, Oliveira was playing in more of a defensive midfield role, a more deeper lying midfield role in this 4-3-3 formation that is used in Kansas City. And he was a fantastic player in that area, but they decided that his sphere of influence, if you want to call it that, is expanded when they moved him into a more advanced position. He can affect more parts of the field and in maybe more game-changing ways. And this is one of the things that Mark Dos Santos has had to try to deal with in terms of the first time ever, first year of a club. You've put an entire new team together, getting to know all the players, see what pieces fit where in better places. And certainly Oliveira is one of those places you want to get him in the place where he can impact the game as much as possible.
Well, and that's, Mark Dos Santos told us he inverted the triangle essentially. He went from kind of 2 attacking midfielders to 1 and giving Oliveira the full width of the field to roam. And you talk about the sphere of influence and Mark Dos Santos. Wow.
There's a flip throw that's punched away by Zach Lubin. When was the last time you saw one of those? Now it's served back in, headed away by Ballo. I'm trying to think the last time I saw a flip throw. I'm trying to even think.
It's Michael Harris with the flip throw here. You see it a lot at the high school level because guys don't have the ability, the strength to get the ball into the box. And with the big bodies that OKC has, you totally can see why they want that long throw to be a part of their arsenal.
Well, with Wojcik at 6'4", 210 pounds, and Koenig at 6'2", 170 pounds, they've got a couple of big targets up top.
Well, and Cody Andrews, when he gets up there, is a big boy. There's a lot of height and size on this Oklahoma City team. But Coach Mark Dos Santos told us the Rangers are very proud. They've not conceded a goal yet on a set play this year. That's something they pride themselves on. They're at a severe height disadvantage today. There's no doubt about that. Ballo's big and Tommy Meyer is big, but just looking out across the field, it's pretty clear Oklahoma City is the bigger of the two squads.
Ayrton got into the challenge. The ball popped up into the air. And he plays it to Cuevas, driving in. Busted up nicely, but still, Oklahoma City coming forward. Here's Highland. Cuevas. Oh, he tried a little cheeky ball through, but Meyer read it and was able to break it up.
Handball, ref. Handball. Call something.
Appeals for handball, but nothing there.
Are those from the fans in the crowd or the players on the field?
Ballo got there first, but it's out for a corner.
I tell you, Nate, I think that's actually the first time all night I've seen Danny Koenig not win a header, but even then he's putting enough pressure on it that when Ballo wins it, it goes out for a corner for OKC.
So it'll be Cuevas to take it. Keeper got his hands to it, and then has to pick it up off the bounce. It's one of the real strengths of the game of Zach Lubin is his ability to command the area when the ball is in the air, especially on set pieces.
Yeah, he's a big, strong guy. You'd like to see him hold it, though. That's twice today we've kind of seen him flail at one or drop it. He's got to do a better job, and there's a lot of bodies there. Oh, he literally wraps his arms around Cyprian Hedrick to even make that play. But you'd like to see him hold that ball and not have that bounce anywhere near the 6-yard box. Hold it or punch it. Just make sure it gets out of there.
Meyer sends it long for Kelly. Kelly tried to bring it down, but he's going to be called for the handball. Well, Kelly, as you mentioned at the outset, Chad, 3 games to start the season, had a goal, was showing himself to be every bit the prolific goal scorer in USL that he has been in the past, but suffered that hamstring injury, hasn't played since until 45 minutes in their last game, and I don't know if they believe that he's 90 minutes match fit just yet, but they're going to see how many minutes they can get out of him here tonight.
Well, and he just brings a different dynamic to this team. I mean, he's a true number 9. He stretches defenses. He can play as a target man. He looks like he's slight of build, but he's really strong, and he's so fast.
Offside flag goes up on the far side on Sebastian Delgard.
But with Dane Kelly out there, it just opens up new opportunities. And I know this is the first Rangers match you've done this year, but we're seeing a lot more long balls over the top and trying to get in behind. That was something that wasn't there with other center forwards for this Rangers team so far.
Run for Oliveira, and he wins the challenge against Hedrick. Now down the left-hand side, Christian Duke serving the cross in. It's over Kelly, headed away by Highland for OKC. Knocked back in by Duke, though. He'll serve it in low. Kelly couldn't get there. Still Christian Duke with it. Looking for Granito. He loses out. Wins the sliding challenge, though, and it's clean. Was able to knock it back to Ayrton. Now Mulligan on the right-hand side. Oliveira. Boy, he just pops up all over the field. He was looking for the run of Dane Kelly that time, but Kelly wasn't ready to make the run.
And Nate, you just touched on it. You know, I'm not sure Dane Kelly is 90 minutes match fit tonight. I do think we'll probably see Mark Anthony Gonzalez come in the second half. Had a short week of training, spent some time up in Canada after the Vancouver match. But Mark Anthony Gonzalez, 4 goals in his last 3 games, and Coach Mark Dos Santos told us that he's the player who's made by far the biggest jump between the beginning of the year and now, and kind of given them that other number 9 option that they weren't sure they had if Dane Kelly was out of the game. So I think you'll probably see Mark Anthony Gonzalez for most of, if not the whole second half. But Dane Kelly just already opening things up and kind of changing the way the Rangers can play.
Swope Park Rangers lost a big-time goal-scoring threat when Daniel Shallowy was sent on loan to Vasas SC in Hungary. That was made official just a day or 2 ago. And a young player, homegrown player technically for Sporting Kansas City, but a native of Hungary, and get a chance to get a lot of playing time in a good league. over in Europe, but that does rob Swope Park Rangers of one of those goal scorers. So from that timing standpoint, really good to get Dane Kelly back as well.
Yeah, I mean, I think Shallowy actually the leading goal scorer and assist getter for this Rangers team thus far this season. And even though he wasn't that true kind of target forward that Mark Dos Santos craves, he was definitely getting the job done more than anybody else was in that role. I should say until Mark Anthony Gonzalez's recent hot streak.
37th minute now, 1-0 in favor of Swope Park Rangers. Ayrton, the goal scorer so far. That one just over the head of Wojciech, who got up in the air but couldn't quite snap it down. It's cleared out by Swope Park Rangers. They concede the corner here.
And Wojciech pretty unmarked here. Just kind of finds a spot between the two center backs. Looks like Omar Ballo actually fell down, slipped on the play. But Wojciech in a good spot already. Just drifting in between the space between the two center backs to take care of that ball. Unfortunately for him, just a little high.
They'll try to put this one on the forehead of Wojciech again. This time it was Ballo who got up high to clear it away. Volleyed back in this time by Michael Thomas. Actually make that Kyle Hyland. And it's out for a goal kick. Get into the game through the USL's social media channels. Follow the USL on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram for news, live game updates, and video highlights from across the league. There's a foul on Ayrton. He takes Highland down. And there's going to be a yellow card shown to the goal scorer, Ayrton, in the 38th minute.
And Ayrton arguing it's his first foul of the game and therefore shouldn't be a card, but
ladies and gentlemen, a yellow card caution has been issued to the referee.
it's a pretty stiff challenge from Ayrton. Kyle Hyland still down on the field.
Swope Park Rangers, number 45, Carson, in the 38th minute.
He just comes in late and steps on his toe. I don't think there's any intent. It's a little reckless. He's a little spread out there, but
It might have been a little bit more than the toe, Chad. You might be
the whole foot,
a little
the
general there. And the issue is with the soccer boots, the top portion of the shoe, so that the players can have better feel for the ball. Not exactly the sturdiest part of the boot. So when you come down on top of somebody's foot with some studs, you can leave a mark.
Yeah, and especially now where everything in kind of soccer boot is about making it lighter and thinner and smaller and almost feeling like you're not feeling it. Well, that's the flip side of that. When you take those cleats to the top of it, you really, really feel it.
Highland getting a round of applause as he's back up to his feet. Native of Bay Village, Ohio, played his soccer ball at IUPUI.
Ooey pooey.
Used to be in the same league as UMKC here.
You really don't think you got me?
You're fucking high, right? Jesus. Fucking dumbass.
Hey! Flag goes up, and an offside call against Sebastian Dalgard. Here's Oliveira for Swope Park Rangers. Highland has that ball covered. Cuevas with a nice back heel, flicks it down the field, but Zach Lubin is able to come out and claim easily. It's 5 minutes left in the first half. 1-0 Swope Park Rangers.
Be smart, be smart.
Nate, I think these teams are both starting to kind of feel the effect of the heat and the humidity out there. There's absolutely no breeze. Looking at the flags that are on the stands across the way from us, they were blowing earlier. They are dead still now, and everybody just looks completely drenched in the sweat. And the game's kind of slowed down a bit from its early pace.
Not only is it hot, it's humid here in Kansas City, Missouri tonight, but fortunately for the players, almost the entire field is in the shade now. Dane Kelly made contact with the Swope Park player on the follow-through, and that's why he's still down on the ground. I believe
Looks like Michael Thomas,
Michael Thomas,
Kansas City native.
wearing the captain's band tonight. Just took out his not so robust shin guard. I think that's where he got caught. Dane Kelly just running through that. And you can see the look on the face of Michael Thomas here that he doesn't feel good about this one. This is not a player who's trying to sell a foul or sell a card, and a kid who is returning to his hometown, native of Olathe, Kansas, who spent a small amount of time in 2013 with Sporting Kansas City. He wants to play in this game as much as possible. No doubt has family and friends here.
Well, and I've seen Michael Thomas play literally throughout his entire career, high school, college, and in the pros. Michael Thomas is not a guy who lays down lightly. I mean, he's actually clearly feeling some serious pain there, and you see him limping and still trying to adjust it as Dane Kelly gets a yellow card for the challenge.
And maybe that is part of the point that Michael Thomas was trying to make there, and the point was delivered to Matthew Kreitzer, the referee, as Dane Kelly goes in the book in the 43rd minute.
Ladies and gentlemen, yellow card.
And that has to be said that it's a little bit retroactive on the yellow card there. A lot of play had continued. No foul had been called on the play.
Yeah, and you wonder if that is Michael Thomas selling it, or the fans, or the players out there. I didn't actually see the referee talk to any of his assistants. It looks like he just kind of decided, as you said, retroactively to give a card there.
Watching it live, it did look that Kelly came right through the shin of Thomas going for that ball, but at the time, nothing had been called. Here's Selbel. Switched over to the left-hand side, at least for now.
And that's a bit of a surprise with the success, the joy Nancel Selbel was finding matching up against Kyle Highland in the back for Oklahoma City. But OKC has actually switched their wingers have inverted now, and you've got Cuevas over here on the left when he spent the first half of the first half over on the right side.
Yeah, Delgard was on the left to begin the game, and he and Cuevas have switched now, as Selbel and Ayrton have as well. A dangerous ball, cleared away by Meyer. Good step that time from Cody Andrews, as we have 1 minute plus stoppage time remaining in the first half. We're being told about 4 minutes of stoppage time will be added to the end of this first half, as Swope Park Rangers lead at 1-0 on the goal by Ayrton and the assist from Nancel Selbel. Cuevas. Buski trying to find the long diagonal ball, and it's out for a Swope Park Rangers goal kick.
And right before that big ball across, Christian Duke was yelling at Nancel Selbel to drop back into that space, and the ball went right there. Oklahoma City seeing the same thing that Christian Duke saw. Christian Duke literally yelling, "Nancel, come here, Nancel."
And there you see the words of Zach Lubin, "Where's our line?" was when he was shouting at his teammates. So that's akin to whose line is it anyway, right?
The old enough to remember has indicated that there will be a minimum of 4 minutes of added time in the first half. 4 minutes.
We are
little
getting
less Drew Carey.
What's that?
A little less Drew Carey.
Yeah. Being told there will be, we do have the confirmation, 4 minutes of stoppage time to close out the first half. Swope Park Rangers will be happy to go to the locker room with a 1-goal lead. If in fact that is the score line after the next 3.5 minutes. There's a sliding challenge from Highland. He's going to be called for the foul. And now it's Ayrton making the most of it.
And I think there's a little bit of payback for the earlier foul there. Highland and Ayrton had some words back and forth after the call earlier, and I think Highland just stays in this challenge a little longer than he probably needs to, and that's what leads to the contact. And Ayrton certainly selling it a little bit after the fact, but oh yeah.
Definitely did not make it to the ball, Kyle Highland, so justified foul. And now you've got Granito, Ayrton, and Oliveira all standing behind it. It's taken quickly to Ayrton, now back to Oliveira. He's going to try to chip it in. Nobody was making the run for Swope Park Rangers. If that was something that they worked on in the training ground, they might need to work on it a little bit more.
I think the three guys standing over that ball had a better idea of what they were trying to do there than all the guys at the back post combined. Kevin Oliveira kind of giving a look at Mansell Selbel there at the back post like, no, that was for you, but Selbel clearly had no idea that was the plan.
Christian Duke giving chase, plays it all the way back to Lubin. He clears it right down the middle, and here come Oklahoma City. Delgard serving the cross in, and it's headed into the back of the net. And just before the stroke of halftime, Oklahoma City have drawn level, and it's the Kansas City kid, Michael Thomas, in his return home, who heads it home to make it 1-1.
And that's back-to-back big goals with the head for Michael Thomas, who scored the equalizer for Oklahoma City the other night in the Open Cup against FC Dallas on a header. Delgard does really, really well to pull that ball to the right and get just a little bit of room to get the cross off. And Michael Thomas, a guy not necessarily the tallest up there, just outworks Tommy Meyer to win that header and put it past Zach Lubin.
You know, Chad, that whole sequence, though, started on the poor clearance from Zach Lubin right down the middle and low, and it gave Oklahoma City possession of the ball in the attacking third in a situation where Swope Park Rangers cannot organize their defense.
Well, not to give away a little bit of the story, but when we come back for the second half, I really want to talk about the keys, and right now we're winning the second ball. Anything that comes out of the back, the team that wins a second ball is coming right back at it. It's happened to both Oklahoma City and Swope Park Rangers, and you see it there. A poor clearance, and OKC immediately back right in Swope Park Rangers' box, and it results in a goal.
Well, Dane Kelly earns the corner for Swope Park Rangers. This should be the last action of the first half. We'll see if Swope Park Rangers can do something with it and put themselves back in front going into the locker room. They led for most of the first half. Bounces in low, it's cleared away, and there is the whistle for halftime. 1-1 is our score at the break. It was a goal by Ayrton in the 7th minute for Swope Park Rangers, set up by the assist from Mansell Selbel, and Rangers led it 1-0 at that point, but Michael Thomas with the header in the 48th minute in stoppage time here in the first half to make it 1-1 as we go to the locker room. We take a break, we will come back, and we will be joined by a VIP who is looking to launch yet another in the ever-expanding franchises that make up USL. So stick around for that. Again, halftime at Swope Soccer Village, Children's Mercy Victory Field, and our score is 1-1 between Swope Park Rangers and OKC Energy.
Stop by.
3 action. All right, we go out there and get 3 points. Let's go. Let's go. Let's go. Team on 3. Team on 3. 1, 2, 3. 4.
It's a pretty cool feeling being back in Kansas City, and soccer has grown so much from when I was growing up. I remember going to the Wizards games at Arrowhead Stadium. It's a cool experience to be able to come home in such a growing soccer community and play in front of family, friends, and the people that helped me get to where I am today.
You know, there's no other place you'd want to play, right? You want to play in where you grew up and in your hometown. And it's nice to be only about 20 minutes from my family and where I grew up in that house. And
this is Shawn Mission South. This is where we play and all our home games at. So yeah, go up the stairs, run down, up the stairs, down, 4 times around. Ridiculous. Midfield North didn't know anything about that though, right?
We did connects. I remember, I wasn't playing, but I remember North played against South, and I think it went into PK.
The regionals, yeah.
Were you playing?
I was playing.
Yeah.
I mean, this is home for me, and this is where it all started. So, being back brings back good memories, and it also reminds me of what it took to get to where I'm at today.
Should go right or left?
right.
So this is Midfield North practice soccer fields. This is where champions are made. So the big thing here was, you know, varsity and JV. This was varsity and JV's field, you know, this was the nice one. And then kind of up top was the freshmen and the C team and stuff like that. So, you know, you always wanted to be on this bottom field or get called down. I think my best memory was kind of my freshman year when the team was pretty good and I was playing with my brother who played defense, you know, which was pretty cool. And being a goalkeeper and working with him, and then going to state and winning the five postseason games and not conceding a goal and winning state. And then finishing 15th in the nation. I think that's a pretty special moment and pretty rare moment, and you know, something that I'll remember forever.
Playing in Kansas City is a dream come true.
And obviously very privileged to be given that opportunity to stay here in my hometown. Playing with my brother every day up here, and same varsity team, winning a state championship with him. We were able to kind of grow together, and he's probably my best friend. Maybe it's on Sundays, or at least hopefully once a week, get together with them and have a good family dinner still. And
as a little kid, I always wanted to play at a professional level, and to be here in this city that thrives on hard work. It's just pretty cool to be here and be able to call this place home and actually play soccer in the city that I grew up in and that I love.
It's our house. Show them that it's our house. Protect it, all right? 1 on 3, boys. 1 on 3. 1, 2, 3. Come on, boys.
Halftime at Swope Soccer Village between the Swope Park Rangers and OKC Energy, and the score is 1-1. Nate Bucati along with Chad Reynolds. And Chad, as we take a look at some of the highlights from the first half, got off to a good start for the home side, but then they conceded late, going right into the locker room, which is not something you want to do. But first, let's focus on the goal by the home team.
And Nancel Selbo beating 2 defenders around the outside, crossing it across, a little bit of a touch, and then just falls to Ayrton, who puts it right back into the mix and in off of the defender or crosses the line. It's been credited to Ayrton with the assist to Selbol, but that's just excellent stuff to start the play by Selbel, and then Ayrton being kind of Johnny on the spot to knock that home.
Take one more look at it. Selbel also doing some work there, flicking it to his right foot, and a nice diving save that time by Lorendi.
And Nensel Selbel really went after Kyle Highland early in the match. Now the Lorendi with another big save off a Tomas Granito free kick. And Lorendi doing really well to get up and keep that out. And then here's the goal for Oklahoma City. Dalgard down the end, and then Michael Thomas just outworking Tommy Meyer and getting to that ball. We talked earlier about the height for Oklahoma City across the board. Michael Thomas not known for his height, but that's a big header win and a good, important goal right before the half.
And that one came in the 48th minute to make the score 1-1 here at Swope Soccer Village. Well, the sun has gone down, which means it's a little more tolerable when it comes to the conditions, and I'm not sure if that's technically a full moon, but it's close. The Swope Park Rangers and OKC are tied at 1-1. We're going to have a special guest talking USL expansion at halftime when we come back. It is halftime at Children's Mercy Victory Field at Swope Soccer Village. Swope Park Rangers and OKC Energy FC are level at 1 apiece. Nate Bucati along with Chad Reynolds, and we are joined now in the booth by a very special guest. Chris Redage is a native of Lincoln, Nebraska, but he's bringing professional soccer to Nashville, Tennessee. Chris, good evening. How are you, man?
Good evening. Thanks for having me here.
First of all, what brought you to Kansas City?
Yeah, so my brother lives here in Kansas City. Actually played at the University of Kansas, played football. And so I was here celebrating his birthday, and at the same time, we're checking out USL operations and also MLS operations just to learn as much as we can in the startup process.
Okay, so your brother played football in college, but you were a soccer guy.
I was. I played at University of Richmond and then played a couple years professionally afterwards.
But now you're trying to bring a USL. You are bringing a USL team to Nashville, Tennessee, and it's going to be here very soon, right? When do you guys actually launch?
Yeah, Nate, 2018, so March 2018. So the next 18, 20 months, we're going to be, in July 1st, we're going to be releasing the name of the team. So we're going to have a big presser downtown, and then we'll just start releasing information as we go. One of the big things that we're going to be doing is building a stadium. And so we're working with the mayor's office trying to determine exactly where and the size from that standpoint.
Well, and we know city government has been a big part of this for you guys in Nashville. That was a huge part of the press release. But why Nashville? What is Nashville, for you as a soccer market?
Yeah, Nashville is such a special city for me. I've lived there for eight years, almost 9 years, and just the entrepreneurial, healthcare. Obviously, we're known from a music standpoint, but what's amazing and what people don't know is just the international population. We have 60,000 Kurds in Nashville.
Wow.
It's kind of little Kurdistan, and so we have this huge international population. And with Nashville being the it city, the internationals really don't have a sport. Right, they've in a lot of ways been priced out of the sport. So we're super excited to bring professional soccer to Nashville and really think about everyone. This is a sport that everyone could come participate in.
Well, when you talk about growing soccer markets, international communities obviously are one of the first places people look because it's the global game.
Yep.
People that come from other countries are going to be interested. But the other area is the youth area, because right here in Kansas City there are hundreds of thousands of kids who play soccer, and they're potential season ticket holders right there.
Yep.
I know that Sporting Kansas City have a youth academy that's got a satellite, that in Nashville. They've got a couple of their players who have started to shoot up through their academy.
Desmond Armstrong's son.
Right, who's a Hall of Famer. So what's the youth soccer we always think of Nashville and Tennessee as being college football country. What's the youth soccer scene like in Nashville?
It's large. I was actually in a meeting with Derek, who's the head of the Tennessee State Soccer Association, and just in Nashville alone, the greater, we have like 40,000 youth players.
Wow.
Just in the kind of the demographic. So youth soccer, and really, when you start looking at marketing and the demographic of fans, it really is the young millennials who grew up playing soccer in the 80s and 90s and early 2000s, who understand the sport and understand the beauty of the sport. So that's what we're excited about as well, is bringing a sport to them, and it is going to be Nashville's team. There's a moniker as our town, our club, which is the amateur team there, and so we're super excited to work with them and partner with them as well.
Well, Chris, congratulations, and I know that the next 18 months or so are going to be like a whirlwind for you as you get ready to launch. But welcome to USL, and thanks for stopping by.
Thank you, guys.
All right, that is Chris Redage. His team is launching, and stay tuned to find out the name and all the details, because that's going to be coming on July 1st. Second half is right around the corner from Kansas City, Missouri. Swope Park Rangers and OKC Energy level at 1 apiece. We are just about set for the second half between Swope Park Rangers and OKC Energy, as we are level at 1 apiece. Nate Bucati along with Chad Reynolds, and it is a hot, steamy night here in the Midwest, but with the sun going down, things have cooled off a little bit. Anybody that is familiar with the Kansas City area knows that when the humidity is high, Chad, the temperature really never goes down that much. But it's definitely better to be in the shade than it is the sun.
Yeah, and it's still not a windy night. It started out earlier tonight. I thought it was going to be breezy, and I thought it was going to have a nice kind of cooling breeze for the fans. It doesn't appear to be there, but now with the sun down, the humidity starts to drop, and things don't get quite as steamy.
Well, if any of the Swope Park Rangers players want to complain about the conditions, they could just talk to the members of their parent club, Sporting Kansas City, who will be playing tomorrow at 4 o'clock in the afternoon. Thanks to the folks at ESPN and the scheduling there.
The sun will be up for that.
Yeah, as you just saw, Jimmy Nielsen, by the way, making his way back toward his bench. The White Puma, they know him here in Kansas City as, and one of the true legends in this city, winning a couple of major trophies, a U.S. Open Cup and an MLS Cup, playing, as he recalled earlier this week to the local newspaper, on a couple of broken ribs on that frozen tundra. Talking about heat now, it was the coldest game, I believe, in MLS history at the time when Jimmy Nielsen saved a couple of penalties in what was a 10-penalty shootout for each side when Sporting Kansas City won that cup, and he retired 2 days later. And now he is the coach here at Oklahoma City, making his return to Kansas City tonight. 1-1 the score as we're underway in the second half on a beautiful pitch here at Swope Soccer Village. Women's team FC KC play on this field. Dane Kelly trying to give chase here, and he's able to actually get a flick onto it, but he puts it right off the chest of Cody Lorendi, who might have been a little slow to come off his line that time.
Yeah, but there you see the danger of Dane Kelly. I think Cody Lorendi thought he had an easy ball just falling to him, and Dane Kelly kicked it into another gear and beat him to the ball. I was about to say almost beat him to the ball, but did beat him to the ball. And Cody Lorendi, a little fortuitous that he wasn't beaten there just from Dane Kelly's quick first step.
Well, this OKC Energy team playing 120 minutes on Wednesday at what is their new partner club, FC Dallas, in the U.S. Open Cup. And boy, what a game that was. 2-2 after regulation, 2-2 after 120 minutes. Went to penalties, and FC Dallas ended up winning and advancing in penalties. There's Christian Duke tracking back to win that ball, but finding himself in a little bit of trouble here. And a foul is going to go against Oklahoma City, much to the chagrin of Sebastian Dalgard.
And Christian Duke, that ball just gets away from him a little more than he expects, and then puts his body between Dalgard and the ball and gets the call. But not the touch Christian Duke wants to make there.
Here's Harris on the right-hand side. Thomas, the goal scorer for OKC. Now left-hand side, Tommy make that Cody Andrews. He's looking for the long switch for Dalgard, but it's out for a goal kick.
Cody Andrews, another Kansas City kid on this Oklahoma City team. Mill Valley High School. I actually coached against Cody Andrews when he was All-State his senior year. And then Cody went through Mid-America Nazarene University here in Kansas City and then UMKC. And now, during the winters, spends his time with the Missouri Comets of the MASL. So a lot of Kansas City ties between Cody Andrews and Michael Thomas and Cyprian Hedrick and Jimmy Nielsen to this Oklahoma City squad.
MASL, indoor soccer, for those that aren't familiar, and that Missouri Comets team won a couple of titles here in recent years. So adding claim that Kansas City have made of the soccer capital of America. Of course, with the U.S. training complexes going up, that adds a little bit to that claim as well. But when you talk about trophies, 3 in the last 4 years for Sporting Kansas City, a couple of trophies for FC Kansas City in the NWSL, and then Missouri Comets winning a couple of trophies as well. So, will Swope Park Rangers add to that Kansas City trophy cabinet in years to come? We'll have to see. Right now, they've been in a little bit of a rough patch of late. Of course, it's just the first year as an organization. Oliveira, though, gives it away right in the center circle. It's Cuevas. Look down the right-hand side. Dalgard giving chase. So is Ballo. Ballo able to step in front and earns the throw-in.
Ballo with a big run there. Dalgard looked like he was willing to let that ball just run out for the corner kick, and then Ballo coming from a good 30 yards away with a hard run and a nice shoulder to cut himself in front of Dalgard and force it in off Dalgard for the corner kick, or for the throw-in.
Here's Harris serving the cross in. It's flicked away by Meyer. Selbol, who was the bright spots in the first half for Swope Park Rangers. He gets muscled off the ball this time by Kyle Hyland. And Hyland is called for the foul. We were chatting with former Columbus Crew and Sporting Kansas City goalkeeper Andy Greenebaum, who's now a broadcaster for Sporting Kansas City. Yeah, but he spent a lot of time in his career in Ohio, so he got to know Kyle Hyland, who was coming up through the Ohio youth systems at that time. Tommy Meyer will flick it back to Zach Lubin.
Game kind of struggling to fall into a rhythm here early in the second half. It almost feels more like the beginning of a game where the teams are still feeling each other out. I haven't seen any major tactical changes that would have kind of necessitated that, but really a little stop-start right now with no flow to it.
Selbol bringing it down on the far side. Down to Mulligan. And all the way back to the goalkeeper, Lubin. Hedrick wins the header. Swope Park Rangers to the second ball. Here's Kelly. He tried to back heel flick it towards Oliveira and lost out, and then a foul against Swope Park Rangers.
Little cheeky back heel attempt there that if he gets a little more on that, Kevin Oliveira is probably in on goal, but that was the most interchange we've seen between really either team thus far this second half. As another ball is just kind of run through the midfield and given away.
OKC have stepped up the pressure a little bit here in the second half, forcing a lot of negative play from Swope Park Rangers. Koenig shielded off by Balo, and Lubin comes flying out to claim it. Distributes it quickly for Duke, who was under pressure, so he had to get rid of it in a hurry.
And Lubin has to do better there with his distribution. He got his head up quick and looked for Duke, but didn't see the defender right there. So the ball got out quickly, but immediately put Christian Duke under pressure.
Koenig was onside here. He's into the area now, cutting it back. Bad pass is won back by Ayrton for Swope Park Rangers. Here's some space for Oliveira. On the right-hand side, Selbol, and he is called for offside. Selbol has probably got to do a little bit better there.
Yeah, I mean, literally the defender is right in front of him and stops dropping back, and so he knows the line is holding, and Nensel Selbol just kept taking steps. He's got to recognize that earlier and break off his run.
It's just an 18-year-old Selbol, so making a 19-year-old now. Here comes Koenig from a tough angle. Try the near post, and it's punched away by Zach Lubin.
Koenig came from across the middle, really, really solid flat run to bring himself to the near side there and receive that ball.
This man has scored 21 goals in USL in 2015.
Yeah, and you see Balo caught out, runs right in behind him, tries to beat Zach Lubin at the near post. Lubin strong with the hands to push that out for a corner kick.
Waiting for the corner.
A lot of bodies in there on the goalkeeper, Zach Lubin. The referee giving everybody a talking to, and he's coming back in to give him another one.
And big body, Zach Lubin at 6'5", barely standing over some of the heads that you see in the area now.
And Walefi just, apparently the argument here is can Cyprian Hedrick keep his arm at Walefi's chest level?
Matthew Kreitzer, the referee. And everybody marches away from the goalkeeper. Cuevas sends in the low corner. It's flicked away by Dane Kelly, and then the shot attempt rolls wide of the target. It's a goal kick for Swope Park Rangers in the 55th minute.
And Danny Koenig right there on the doorstep. If he gets a touch, he's in on goal, and I don't know if he didn't realize the ball was going to get all the way through to him or what, but Zach Lubin totally at odds if that ball finds Danny Koenig's foot.
If you're just joining us, 1-1 the score. Swope Park Rangers scored in the 7th minute. Goal being credited to Ayrton on the assist from Nancel Selbol. Question as to whether or not it was an own goal or truly a goal for Ayrton, but that's the official ruling. And then in the 48th minute, it was Michael Thomas, the Olathe, Kansas native, which is a suburb of Kansas City for those that don't know. And so he is, in his return to his hometown, scoring in the 48th minute with a header to make it 1-1.
Nate looking across the Swope Park Rangers bench. It looks like Chris Tierpak kind of making the final preparations to come on soon.
Here comes Koenig trying to chase this one down to keep it in as well in the corner. There you see Tierpak.
Chris Tierpak, a big part of what the Swope Park Rangers do, and as Nancel Selbol gets in late on that challenge. But Chris Tierpak, a speed guy. He opens things up. He can play wide. He can play up top for the Rangers. And I think he's probably in Mark Dos Santos' first choice 11 when he's healthy. Chris Tierpak been battling a lingering injury for the last couple of weeks, and so kind of managing his time is Mark Dos Santos. But I think you might see Chris Tierpak come in now for Ayrton on the left side, see if they can open things up there.
First, a free kick coming up for OKC Energy. And now the 58th minute. Highland and Cuevas standing behind it. It'll be Cuevas lofting it in, punched away by Lubin. And then cleared away by Oliveira. Christian Duke wins the long ball. Looks it forward to Selbol. Checks up his run. Tommy Myers sending it long, looking for Kelly. He might be through here. Goalkeeper way off his line, outside of his area to clear it away. Here's Ayrton with the left foot, a bouncing shot into the arms of Cody Lorendi. Lorendi put to work there a couple of times, and it was really just a direct ball right over the top of everybody that got that sequence started for Swope Park Rangers.
When Ayrton receives that ball, a little bouncer right in, if he gets a little more on that, I feel like he's got to think he's got to want to get more on that. Pretty actual easy save for Cody Lorendi. I think the tougher one was coming out and winning that ball in front of Dane Kelly that led to that shot.
Christian Duke, his Swope Park Rangers trying to play it out of the back there, but the pressure from Oklahoma City won't allow it. And now we have our first substitution of the match, and as predicted by Chad Reynolds, it will be Chris Tierpak coming in for Ayrton.
Leaving the game is number 45,
Ayrton was the goal scorer for Swope Park Rangers in the 7th minute, but his night is done. Chris Tierpak will see what kind of a mark he can leave on this match. As we are into the 60th minute, 1-1 the score. Christian Duke clearing this one away. One back by Michael Harris. Cuevas. A couple of different Swope Park Rangers players nearly colliding in the box. Sent back in now, and the header goes over the crossbar by Cuevas. Actually, that was Michael Thomas again, who already scored with a header once tonight.
And Thomas gets his body a little in too far and has to kind of lean back for that ball. I think Danny Koenig cutting in front of him and also going up for that header may have taken Michael Thomas's eyes off of that ball. If he sees that the whole way, he can do better with it.
Well, it is interesting that the 6'4" Wojcik and the 6'2" Koenig are out there, but it's been the 5'10" Michael Thomas who rose up for the header that was the goal and then was the one out of all the bodies in the area to make contact with that last headed opportunity.
And Michael Thomas is a work rate guy. He's a guy you know you're going to get 100% out of at all times, and I think you're seeing that tonight.
Long diagonal ball looking for Christian Duke down the left-hand side. Ball's it to Tierpak. Headed across to Kelly. Here comes a long-range effort that sails over the crossbar off the foot of Kevin Oliveira.
And we've seen Oliveira score from that distance more than once this season, and especially in the last couple of weeks where he's been really, really on fire, if you will. This one gets away from him a bit, hits it with the outstep, and it just, yeah, it flies up there. You can see it bending off to the right. Might have had more time to settle that down and drive through it rather than trying to one-time it.
Ball one in the midfield. Tierpak comes away with it, plays it down the right-hand side. Selbel. Ansel Selbel. Now driving toward the area, cutting his way back. Tried to get it across to Christian Duke, but it's intercepted by OKC Energy, and that was Michael Harris with the interception, then a foul on Omar Ballo, and probably not a bad decision by Ballo there.
No, sometimes you need to break up the play, break up the breakout before it happens, and kind of getting your legs tied up with the attacker there. Foul them before they break midfield. Foul them before they can get anything on. Just slow everything down and get your defense set.
Hedrick lumps it forward. Ballo won the first header, won the second header. By Cuevas. And away by Tommy Meyer. And it ends in a Swope Park Ranger throw-in. Well, just over an hour gone in this one, Chad. Tough to tell who's had the better of this match.
Well, the first half was exactly even, not just on the scoreboard, but it felt like a game that was two 50-50 teams. And the second half has felt the same way, just with less flow to it so far.
Yeah, Rangers have had a couple of opportunities, but none of them have come from any real intricate buildup. They've mostly been direct balls over the top. And that can work with Dane Kelly as your target forward. Here comes Harris down the right-hand side, serving a cross in, and it's banged into the back of the net. And just like that, OKC have taken the lead. It's Wojcik with his first goal for OKC Energy. The 23-year-old from Elmwood Park, Illinois. And all of a sudden, the visitors have a 2-1 lead.
Well, and what we'll see happen here is Christian Duke is kind of hung out to dry on the left side. Chris Tierpak's too high up the field, and Duke has to deal with two defenders or two attackers. And it's just the overlap from Michael Harris and a ball. Yeah, the overlap here from Michael Harris, and the ball it's a good ball across. Zach Lubin can't really do anything about it, and Wojcik gets on the end of it, and then looks like with his knee gets into the head or the face of Zach Lubin. Lubin looks like he's okay, but the Rangers down now 2-1.
Leaving the match is number 44, Tomas Granito.
And making another sub.
Entering the match, number 47,
Mark Anthony Gonzalez has come into the game for Swope Park Rangers. Oliveira trying an effort from about 20 yards out that misses the target. But the interesting part here, Chad, is not the fact that Mark Anthony Gonzalez has come into the game. It's maybe who he's replacing. That's Thomas Garito. We thought maybe he would be coming in for Dane Kelly at some point, but Kelly stays on, as now Swope Park Rangers are going to be chasing the game a little bit.
Well, this lineup now looks a little bit more like the lineup in the second half last week against Vancouver that led to the comeback, with Dane Kelly as a target forward, and Mark Anthony Gonzalez has got the ability to play underneath him as a second striker. And definitely with chasing the game, having the two forwards up there is seems to be Mark Dos Santos' solution to try and get that goal.
Maybe more of a 4-4-2 here.
Yeah, it looks like Selbel's gonna stay really wide, and Tierpak's gonna stay really wide. The question is, how high up the field does Mark Anthony Gonzalez go, and then what does that do to the shape in the middle of the park with Kevin Oliveira and Walefi?
Tierpak on the left-hand side, running in the defense. Broken up by Michael Thomas. Walefi wins it back, though, for the Rangers and gets it out to Selbel on the right-hand side. By the way, Walefi's still down right along the halfway line, but Swope Park Rangers will play on. Now the referee stops play, and I'm not really sure why here. The referee's not under any obligation to stop play unless it's a serious-looking injury or a head injury. Doesn't seem to be anything wrong with the head of Walefi. Decide if it maybe his left hand, left arm. Difficult to tell, but play will be resumed now. I'm not sure that the whistle really ever needed to be blown there.
No, he should have just let him play. I mean, Walefi was definitely dealing with something, but maybe took something in the gut. But nothing obvious from that.
There wasn't really any contact there.
Looks to be fine now.
Tierpak sending it down the left-hand channel. And the OKC players will let it run for a goal kick. All right, now Wojciech, man they call Woj in Oklahoma City, stands to be the hero. The goal scorer in the 64th minute to make it 2-1 in favor of OKC.
And that's really the first serious attack we'd seen Wojciech be a part of tonight, and capitalizes on the opportunity.
Mulligan lofting it down the field. Sobel under duress, and he earns the throw-in. The energy players in the area don't agree. Mulligan tried to take it quickly with another ball while one ball was still on the field, so he'll take the throw again. Mark Anthony Gonzalez now. There's a bad giveaway. It's taken by Sebastian Delgard. Keep up to date with the USL all season long by visiting the new USLsoccer.com for everything you need to know about the USL. Mark Anthony Gonzalez down the right hand, or the left hand side, that is, and he gets tackled off the ball by Michael Harris that time.
Harris just takes that right off the foot of Mark Anthony Gonzalez. There's that Michael Thomas taking it right off the foot of Mark Anthony Gonzalez, and then plays it out as we've got a OKC Energy player down. That's Sebastian Dalgard up the field, who had just sat down, and the trainers are coming out to take a look at him.
Well, another opportunity for an unofficial water break as well, as we've reached 69 minutes here in Kansas City, Missouri. There are no official water breaks in this game. Heat index not high enough, but you're seeing Dalgard grabbing a bit at that left hamstring as he makes his way off the field, and that will lead to our first substitution by Oklahoma City on the night.
And it's Daniel Gonzalez coming in for Dalgard here. Dalgard definitely with the hamstring injury, going to come out.
So Daniel Gonzalez, 23-year-old out of Yelm, Washington. Played his college ball at Peninsula College in the state of Washington, and he'll replace Sebastian Dalgard. Rangers will throw it back in to OKC after the injury stoppage. 20 minutes remaining. Swope Park Rangers down by a score of 2-1. Way by Lubin. And Oliveira just snuck in from behind, and he will be called for the foul as he knocks Wojcik to the ground. It's a tactic when you're a smaller player sometimes.
Well, Kevin Oliveira is certainly not going to win a header over Wojcik anytime soon. Yeah, but the foul there is, I mean, Kevin Oliveira doesn't even go up for the ball at all.
And it was right when Wojcik had left the ground, so he had no feet under him to stabilize himself. Here comes the free kick from Cuevas. And Omar Ballo just lets it run out.
And that's good communication between Zach Lubin and his defender, Omar Ballo. Lubin telling him, no, just let it run, and then Ballo recognizing it early enough. And then Christian Duke, the left back there, also on a man, recognizing early enough, hey, let's not take any chances here. Just shepherd him off and let it run out of bounds.
Sliding challenge by Tommy Meyer. But OKC maintaining possession. Cuevas down the left-hand side. He's running in Meyer right now. Serving another cross in, and that header might have been headed for the back of the net, but it was covered that time by Omar Ballo, who got a piece of it to knock it offline. Otherwise, it might be 3-1 right now in favor of the visitors.
And that's a very good ball from Cuevas across. Just floats it up there for Wojcik again. And Wojcik drifting off his man, wins another header, but Ballo fortuitously right in the lane of the header and hits him in the midsection, and he comes away with it. But really, really good ball from Cuevas. Looking at that angle, I'm not sure the ball goes in, even if it keeps going, but good stuff from Ballo to get there.
There's Tierpak. He had a tough time making progress at the right side of that OKC defense. It's out for an OKC throw-in. I mentioned earlier, this OKC Energy team playing in their 5th straight road match, including the U.S. Open Cup game in which they played 120 minutes on Wednesday against FC Dallas. Now, there have been a lot of changes to the lineup from that match on Wednesday, as you might expect. And here's Gonzalez firing his shot. It's knocked away by Lubin, but on the rebound, it is put back in. And all of a sudden, OKC have opened up a 3-1 lead. Daniel Gonzalez, the substitute, coming off the bench, and he fired the first shot. Lubin had it covered, but the rebound fell right back to Gonzalez, and he put it in the back of the net.
Well, and Gonzalez found himself out wide in space. As you see this ball come across all the way to him, and Christian Duke alone on an island kind of hung out to dry by his midfield. Gonzalez gets Duke off his feet. Duke gets back up, but he's still able to get to the right, pushes the ball to the right, and get the shot off. right into Zach Lubin's gut, and that's a tough save. Lubin, you hope, would just cushion that ball and hold it, and it rolls right back out, and Gonzalez with the left foot able to finish past Lubin, who is yet to get back up.
Now, trying to cushion that shot might be a little easier said than done, right?
Yeah, Gonzalez hits it pretty hard, hits it pretty well. Kind of in a no man's land for the goalkeeper.
A nasty challenge over on the sideline that's going to result in a yellow card, I believe, for Walefi of Swope Park Rangers. And that'll be in the 75th minute. Trying to make out who the OKC player is. He's still along the wall, the signage board on the far side, receiving treatment.
By the referee to the Swope Park Rangers number 35, Walefi, in the 75th minute.
Trying to make out who that player is right now on the far side. That was taken down, but it was a sliding challenge from Walefi right on the touchline and sent the OKC player sliding into that signage board. And it's Michael Busco. Looks like he's going to be okay now. And Walefi won the ball, but he went over the top of the ball and got the man.
That's the Walefi had a better angle at the ball than he took, and if he just goes to the ground instead of trying to go higher with that, he wins the ball and it's at his feet and he can hop up. But instead, as you said, he goes right over the top of the ball and it pushes Busco and gets most of Busco's leg and then pushes Busco into the signage boards over there, which is not a soft landing space.
So the Danish midfielder is getting set to check back in as another cross gets lumped in. It's headed away. Looks like we're about to have another substitution for the Rangers here in the 77th minute. But first, here comes Mark Anthony Gonzalez down the right-hand side. Cross coming in is knocked away by Hedrick. Turn down the left-hand side by Cuevas. And the energy coming the other way. Through ball is gathered by Lubin. It was quick off his line this time. No, match starting to open up a little bit here, at least over the last couple minutes. Swope Park Rangers with a lot of work to do. It's 13 minutes plus stoppage time remaining as they trail by 2 goals. Staring at what would be their second loss at home on the season. Here's Tierpak. Serving that cross in, never makes its way to Dane Kelly as it was headed away nicely. Vocik tackled from behind by Tierpak, who got it right, but it's out for an OKC throw-in, and now here comes the substitution for the Rangers.
And it looks as if it's Amir Džidić coming in to replace Walefi. Now, Džidić normally a center back, but I think he's going to slot into that defensive midfield role. And the other thing Džidić brings in that role is his height. So it's another big body for corners and throw-ins. He's really good with his head.
Well, Džidić is a native of Edmonton, Alberta, Canada, but he played his college ball right up the road from Kansas City in Baldwin, Kansas at Baker University. This will be his 13th appearance on the season. He's come off the bench now 7 times out of those 13 appearances. Here's Vocik putting the cross in, and the shot is banged wide of the target by Cuevas. And here comes the substitution now for the visitors. It's gonna be Jordan Rideout, who was one of the heroes in that match against FC Dallas on Wednesday. He's replacing Vocik, which will be a relief to me. That might be the last time I have to that pronunciation correct the rest of the night. My Polish grandparents would be rolling over in their graves, though, if they heard me complaining about that. Right out into the match, Wojcik is out.
Either way, the very English name of right out, much easier to pronounce.
He is also a player who played collegiately here locally at UMKC. Here comes Koenig in, and a nice sliding tackle this time by Amir Jidik, showing his, and now we've got a card shown to Koenig.
I think Koenig actually was arguing with the official. He thought the official had called a goal kick. When the official pointed for the corner, and it's a clear corner, but I think Koenig gets up thinking the official calls a goal kick, and so Koenig actually gets a card here for dissent when he got the call. He just didn't quite realize it.
I guess it's possible he was appealing for a penalty. Sure looked like the tackle was won by Jidic. There's Cuevas with the corner. And then shot over the crossbar. And a goal kick now for Swope Park Rangers. They take it quickly as they are down by a couple of goals here with just 9 minutes plus stoppage time remaining.
And the press is finally starting to get higher here from the Swope Park Rangers.
Just haven't really been able to hold on to any possession, any meaningful possession in the midfield for most of the game, I would say, for Swope Park Rangers.
Yeah, I mean, the first 15 minutes, it seemed like they were controlling the game in the midfield, but since then, it's been all OKC.
And that is Kalen Ryden, who's coming into the game now, and he will replace Jose Cuevas. And if you're wondering why you keep seeing substitutions in this match, well, different substitution rules in USL than in MLS. 5 substitutes. That is the third for OKC.
Kalen Ryden, a draft pick of Columbus Crew in MLS.
There's a ball that deflects dangerously off the crossbar, then Lubin's able to claim it. Now here comes Oliveira steaming forward. Out of Dane Kelly. Hasn't had much of a chance to make his mark on this game. He loses out, but let's take another look. An awkward ball that almost became the 4th goal for OKC.
And that actually comes off Omar Ballo, who cuts in front of the attacker there, and it flicks up, and Lubin, pretty lucky that that ball falls right back to him. And he has to use every bit of his 6'3" frame to get up and get that.
Foul called against Swope Park Rangers on the halfway line. I made the comment about all the subs we've seen so far. Actually, just 3 from each side as I do the math on it. But with 10 minutes remaining, you might not see a manager in MLS be willing to use all 3 subs, because then if an injury happens at that point, you could be in a little trouble. But here, both of these head coaches still have a couple left at their disposal.
And that actually happened to FC Dallas the other night in the Open Cup match. Had made all 3 subs, granted it was in extra time, and then suffered an injury and had to play with 10 men for most of the second extra time period. But here in USL with 5 subs, that's not something the coaches have to worry about. Although Coach Mark Dos Santos telling us he hesitates to use his 4th and 5th subs if he can avoid it. He feels like, if at all possible, these guys should play with the same rules that everybody else around the world is. I mean, you're developing players.
Right.
To move up into a higher level, and does it stunt their development if you're allowing that extra sub?
Here comes a nice through ball for OKC. Off to the races, Koenig. Had it knocked away, but he still gets back on the end of it. Now he goes down right on the 18, and nothing is going to be called. Swope Park Rangers running out of time now as they trail by 2 goals. Oliveira trying to get it forward that time to Mark Anthony Gonzalez, but he couldn't hold it up.
And I know Koenig doesn't have any of Oklahoma City's goals tonight, but you can see the kind of danger that he presents. We've called his name dozens of times, even though he isn't on the score sheet itself. And he's been everywhere, stretching the defense, challenging for headers, winning balls. You can see exactly how he ended up with 21 goals last year and as a USL MVP finalist.
Here's Oliveira. And it's out for an OKC throw-in. And there's a foul on Tommy Meyer. Maybe a bit of frustration there on what's been a frustrating second half for Swope Park Rangers.
Just not, as you said earlier, a lot of possession in the midfield, not seen enough of the ball. And especially on a night as hot as it is tonight, as humid as it is tonight, you can't chase the game the whole time and expect to still be in it late in the game, especially if you're down on the score sheet as well. If you're chasing the ball on the field and chasing the game on the score sheet, it's a tough night in this weather.
Tierpak sending it down, looking for Selbol, but the ball was won nicely by Michael Harris. Now Kelly. Trying to work his way through a myriad of green shirts. Kelly just hasn't been able to find much service in this game.
No, and every time he does get the ball, it feels like he's a little isolated. And I think that plays an example of a guy who's not 90 minutes match fit. And, you know, Mark Dos Santos flat out told us he's in his preseason right now. He needs, or a second preseason, if you will. He needs to get match fit, and I think his legs just aren't there to make that kind of a run and beat that many defenders this late in the game.
Nice through ball by Oliveira. The cross, though, is dealt with and caught by Cody Lorendi, who's had a good game
He
for
certainly
OKC.
has. Yeah, you can't really say he's done anything wrong all night long. Unlucky on the bounce across the face of his goal on the first goal, and then unlucky for the own goal. And I think that ball actually was flicked on, headed by Cody Andrews, and just happened to fall right into Cody Lorendi. But it's a really good catch and a good hold for a goalkeeper on a ball he's not expecting to come off of his own player there.
Hasn't been tested much in the second half, but he made a couple of really good saves in the first half when his team was actually down 1-0 to keep it a 1-goal game.
The save he made on the free kick, where the ball was just touched to Tomas Granito and he got up to the upper 90 on the side, was a pretty spectacular save, and really did, because if that ball goes in, this is a totally different game. His team's down 2-0 and absolutely chasing from that point.
But now, just 2 minutes away from closing out a victory are OKC, which would be their second victory against Swope Park Rangers on the season. Here come the Energy, possibly looking for more. Now they'll bring it back. Michael Thomas, who scored the goal in the first half for the Energy. Michael Harris. Now Michael Thomas again, the captain. Well, Swope Park Rangers can't get the ball back at the moment, and not showing a ton of initiative to do so. Might be running out of gas a little bit. Now Oliveira finally finds it. Mark Anthony Gonzalez trying to hold it up. He's going to get the benefit of a foul call here. Might have been bailed out a little bit by that one as he had made a poor pass. That was intended to Oliveira. And we got a substitution for OKC now. This will be their fourth.
It's Tim Janssen.
Tim Janssen coming in, native of the Netherlands. He replaces Danny Koenig, who was active in this game, didn't end up on the score sheet, but his night will be done here in the 90th minute. As the Energy look to close this one out. Tommy Meyer sends it in. Flick toward goal, and it is claimed by Cody Lorendi. Mark Anthony Gonzalez might have made some contact with Lorendi there.
The fourth official on the sideline has indicated there will be a
minimum of 4 minutes of stoppage time here to close things out. KC leading Swope Park Rangers by a score of 3-1. Oliveira, who also hasn't been able to make the type of impact that we've seen from him in many games this year. So far today, he was fouled there.
And I think that's the key with Kevin Oliveira's development as a player at this point. He is young, he's 20 years old, but in the international scheme, that's not all that young anymore. And for a player with his kind of skill set and his kind of talent and the way he can change a game, he's just got to be able to do it more consistently to take his game to the next level.
Well, more and more teams are also going to be keying on him. That's one of the things that Mark Dos Santos talked about with us, is especially now that he is the reigning USL Player of the Week. The other coaches, the other technical directors in the league are aware of Oliveira, and he might be the #1 person that they have circled when they talk about preparing for Swope Park Rangers. So that also is a step in the development. It's one thing to make a big impact on the game when you're just one of the guys. When you're the focal point of the other team, that's going to make life a lot more difficult and the next step in maybe his development.
Well, and Mark Dos Santos said he thinks Kevin Oliveira has the potential to be the best U20 or 20-year-old player in this league. But as you pointed out, Swope Park Rangers aren't the only people who know that now.
Tierpeck with some nifty footwork, navigating his way past a couple of green shirts, but too much traffic in the end, and now Swope Park Rangers lose it out on the throw-in. When it comes to the upcoming schedule for Swope Park Rangers, we'll be back in action in Seattle on June 26th. Next home game, July 2nd. Against St. Louis FC, which could be a bit of a derby match there. Then at Arizona, and then rematch against this OKC Energy side that have had their number so far this year.
And right now, if OKC, there it is right there, if they want to possess, I mean, the pressure is not there. The legs are not there from the Swope Park Rangers. So OKC really kind of having run of it if they just want to possess.
Sporting Kansas. I made it almost the entire game, Chad Reynolds, without saying Sporting Kansas City when I meant to refer to Swope Park Rangers. And then in the 94th minute, wouldn't you know it, it happens. This ball headed away by Harris, who's had a good night for OKC. Now final seconds as they can kill this one off. Oklahoma City are going to improve to 5-2-4 on the year. Swope Park Rangers will drop to 4-7-2.
And as we looked at that upcoming schedule for the Swope Park Rangers, it doesn't get any easier.
There is the final whistle. OKC Energy win it by a final score of 3-1 here tonight in Kansas City, Missouri. Well, tonight's man of the match, we talked about homecomings, mostly for Jimmy Nielsen, but how about that man, Michael Thomas, Lathe, Kansas native. He knows Christian Duke well, growing up here. He scored the equalizer in the first half and wore the captain's band for OKC. So he's our man of the match tonight, presented by Courtyard Overland Park. The Courtyard Overland Park Metcalf congratulates Michael Thomas, tonight's man of the match.
Well, and, you know, he got the goal, but I think, and obviously that's a big impact, but I think he was just an impact player across the board. Everything went through Michael Thomas. He was kind of leading the charge. He's the field general for the Oklahoma City Energy. Had a couple of extra shots in the game, won some headers. We talked earlier about the energy he brings all the time, and I think he really set the tone for the game. We talked about how Oklahoma City dominated the midfield battle for much of the match, and especially the second half, and a lot of that is credit to the match Michael Thomas had.
So Michael Thomas is our man of the match, and our final score is OKC Energy 3, Swope Park Rangers 1. We thank you for joining us online tonight for USL Soccer from Swope Soccer Village, Children's Mercy Victory Field. Nate Bucati and Chad Reynolds thanking you for watching. We'll see you next time. Again, OKC Energy win it 3-1 over Swope Park Rangers. So long, everybody. Is that it?
Stretched out to the middle, back to
Broke it up. There's a shot. They score! They score!
Bernardo forwards. It's in! Rochester has the lead in St. Louis.
This copyrighted telecast of the United Soccer League may not be retransmitted, rebroadcast, or reproduced without the express written consent from the United Soccer League.